Welcome to the Tearing It Up podcast. I'm your host, Taryn. We'll be tearing it up, tearing it down, and tearing it apart, dissecting all things related to those who deviate from the standard. From leaders of their industry to leaders of mediocrity, and maybe a gear review or two thrown in. We shoot the shit and let the conversations flow, so if that's not your style, this may not be for you. Otherwise, listen in. Hope to light a fire in you somehow. All right. Okay, welcome. We're back. Another week. Another day, another dollar spent.
Fuck, man. Constantly.
It's pretty gray out here, which yesterday poured for a little bit, today a little bit of spits of rain, some thunder both days, but I don't hate it. I don't hate it at all because
I love that too.
Yeah, it's May, and to me, May is spring, and spring means like showers.
Yes.
Like some, not straight into summer, hot, heat, dirt, dust. So I've been welcoming this cool down because it got warm. It didn't get super, super hot. It was apparently above average temperatures for around here at this time, and the snow melt was happening fast, and there was like flood warnings because of it. But then all of a sudden it's cooled down this week, and I'm like, yes, please, like.
I was thinking of what the weather was like when I saw you wearing that sweater. I was like,
yeah.
Oh, dang, maybe she's just like fully adapted to this Cali lifestyle.
Yeah. I actually have a long sleeve under it too. I'm a little bit warm, but it's usually, so I'm at Andrew's parents' house recording right now, and usually their house is not below like 73 degrees. But since the parents are actually out of town, we took over the thermostat and turned it way down because last night we were here cooking dinner and we had the door open because we were coming in and out with the barbecue, and also just to get some fresh air in. And so and it was 7:00. It wasn't cold outside by any means or anything, but it definitely cooled down because of the rain. But we all of a sudden heard the thermostat kick on, and we're like, wait, what? Did the heater just come on? Like in the house, it said it was like 73 degrees on the internal thermostat. And so Andrew was like, sorry, but I am turning this down while they're gone. It's not like the house is going to freeze by any means. So now it's like in the 60s, and that's just completely doable for all of us. I would, even for me, like a little bit warm considering our house is usually 60 degrees, but yeah, so I could definitely take the sweatshirt off, but I've been pretty cozy. So
yeah, cozy is important.
Yeah, but it is also, which I've been really busy since I got back from Washington, just straight into work. And we have our huge Memorial Day weekend sale this weekend. So working all weekend, I took today off, but this weather is like perfect biking weather.
Yes,
and so I'm really itching to get out on my bike because there are some trails around here now melted out. One particular that it's kind of my go-to quick trail that I haven't gotten on it yet because I just heard that it's totally doable and a go. But so speaking of that, I got a bike fit today, and so if you don't know what a bike fit is, it's fitting your body to your bike.
Oh, tight.
So because there's always in anything we do like proper or better alignment for efficiency of things. And if you've ever taken an indoor spin class, whatever, Peloton, anything like that, they talk about body position. And Amber, taking a Peloton class, you've probably heard the instructors talk about body position.
Yes.
But I think they usually talk about it once you're on the bike and like, straight back, like little bends in your arms, stuff like that. If you go to an in-person spin class, often, especially if you've never taken one before, the instructor should go through with you like your alignment in your pedals too, and like adjust the whole bike for you, make sure the seat height's right, the seat like forward and back is right, and handlebar position is in good alignment. And those are very just like quick on the fly things, but you should also think about that on your bikes, like that you're riding. And I've never done a bike fit, but I know how to, align one on a spin bike and the knee alignment and stuff like that, but I haven't fully adjusted my mountain bike or anything. And so this woman, Zoe, she's great. She is the founder of Outdoor Women's Wellness, which is a organization that I'm an ambassador of. And I've gone to plenty of their events, but she does bike fit. She's a physical therapist as well. And we did an event last week, not we, Outdoor Women's Wellness did it, and I attended, and it was bodies on bikes, or bodies and bikes. And so we talked a little bit about the mechanics of your bike, and also like kind of training too. It was all very quick because we talked a lot about the mechanical, I think more, but talking about strength training for biking and an alignment and stuff like that, just how you should kind of feel on your bike. But so I was able to get in with her today and did my bike fit, and it was super awesome and great. So I'm like really stoked to get on my bike and ride it and see what changes I feel. And I couldn't wait to share that with you because we mostly made, well, not mostly adjustments in my saddle and with my handlebars. Things I didn't even know I could adjust. Like I didn't know how easy they were though, because this adjustment in my handlebar actually came from spacers. And I haven't done a lot of work on my bike either, so I didn't even know that these things were spacers. I just thought that was my stem. And then I'm like, oh my God, like look at that. It's super easy to lower my handlebars or lift them up. And I wouldn't have thunk that I needed my handlebars lowered for the crunchiness I was feeling, like too close to my handlebars. It wouldn't have occurred to me to lower my handlebars to get the correct angle in my shoulders. But when you and I went biking in Washington, I know you mentioned you wanted a new saddle.
Yes.
And I'm so curious why. Well, obviously we don't have to get into this on the podcast right now or anything, but I made adjustments in my saddle angle because I've been feeling like numbness in my downstairs mix up. Not like
I catch what I picked up what you put
down. I haven't noticed like pain per se, but like on these longer rides, I've biked to town a couple times, which is about an hour ride, and I'm like get off my bike, and I don't even have to get off my bike. One ride with a chamois, one without. And I was like, oh my God, my vagina feels numb. Like, what the hell? And then so I told her that, and she pointed out, when I sit on my bike, the weight is on the back of your saddle, and then with your shock and compression and all that, like it moves the nose up because all up in your shit. So we adjusted the angle there and adjusted the aft position, pulled it back a little bit so my knee was in slightly a better alignment. It wasn't like too far off, and then adjusted my handlebars. All these things, when you look at the actual numbers, were like pretty nuanced and small. But I'm really excited to see how they change things out there. And she used to do virtual bike fits, Zoe, like during COVID and stuff, and I asked her about it, but she doesn't do them anymore for the most part. Because my question with that was like, wow, this is there's so much to it. I mean, it was a 90-minute appointment. And so it's like, how the heck, this would be so hard to do virtually, because you can't, from this side, I'd have to be like, okay, bring the camera there, move it this way, like what's going on? And then I was like, so the person that you're doing it with, then you have to make sure they're equipped with the proper tools, like, and able to make the adjustments. She's like, yeah, that's exactly one of the reasons she stepped away from virtual, because the person that she's seeing needs to be comfortable with making adjustments to their bike as well.
Themselves,
so like that makes a lot of sense, because I wanted to be like, oh my God, Amber, you should. But I'm sure you can find someone in person to do it. But before you buy a new saddle, and she also brought up to me of, go shop around, like maybe go to REI or something, but ask about a return policy, because like, get a couple if you're able to, and test them out and return it. That always sucks for business for return, but like, man, someone needs to do saddle demos.
And there is a local bike shop around here where they have this mechanism that you sit on, and then they put these little bead balls on this like foam thing that you sat on.
Oh,
And so they measure the distance in between your sits bones, and that's what size saddle you use. And I did that at this bike shop for my other bike saddle that I got, and I like it. I don't love this saddle. I don't know if anyone really loves their saddle, but I think a lot of like saddle fitting and like getting your ass comfortable with being in a saddle is just more saddle time.
Yep.
You know,
that is
you got to
definitely
train that cootie booty.
Yeah, that is one of the things. But as she also pointed out to me today, it's like, oh, she says sometimes with clients, it takes a lot of kind of poking and prodding and repeating the question over and over, because before people are finally like, yeah, there's some uncomfort, because they just think it's so normal.
Totally.
And like, that's just a normal thing with cycling. But, to an extent, I think, of course, there's with everything, you got to get used to it, and time in the saddle will help. But there are also things that are just like, no, you can adjust that. Yes. And a lot of times it could be just adjustments within the saddle you have, and not necessarily different saddles, because there's so much debate on that. And I guess she was also mentioning that when companies provide tests or whatever with saddles, like the information that comes back can never be repeated. So that means it's not really like reliable. Like you got this result one time, but that's not a recurring result. And the information can also be very biased.
Yeah.
So I think that's because I've seen a lot of stuff and information about like women's saddles versus men's or whatever, and just your physical body is so different. Like what works for me is not going to work for you. We know that just with clothing and the amount of conversations we've had about the way women's clothes fit. Like my issues are my issues, and sure, plenty of other people share them, but I can't say this brand sucks because their pants don't fit me. Like that's just me. Same thing with a saddle. I can't be like, that saddle sucks. It's like, nope, it just doesn't fit what's going on down there. And especially as women, stuff changes. And I don't know if your sits bones move per se, but
maybe before or after babies or pregnancy, for sure.
Right. I'm not exactly sure how all that changes in that, but any other injury, your alignment changes, just the way your bike is set up. Like you can knock something out of place, your alignment changes, and that can change a lot. So you can always be tinkering with your bike and making adjustments. But I was addicted. I'm like, this is awesome. I want to know more. I want to do more. And she's right now going to be transferring out of Truckee eventually, because she moved and she was only up here once or twice a week, or maybe more. But anyway, she's not going to be able to be in Truckee much. And I was like, are you the only one who does that at this spot? She's like, I think I'm the only one in Truckee doing it. And I was like, whoa, oh my God.
She's got to be busy.
Well, it's not the only thing she does either. So I'm sure she gets a lot of bike fitting, but like she can't, she alone with all of the other things, being a physical therapist, like and a trainer, she can't service everybody, even if she like wanted. But I definitely want to talk to her, and I want to learn more about bike fits and how I can maybe start to do them and offer that.
That would be sick. I feel like you would be a really good person for that, because your attention to detail is pretty attention-y.
I appreciate that so much. Yeah, I wanted to look into it. I'm like, I don't know if you need some kind of like certification to do bike fits, like, because who knows these days, it's like I have
convoluted
training or a certification for personal training, but I think I'm not a physical therapist, but I do think being a personal trainer, like that could fit right on in, because I do want to make programs for bikers and biking, and man, if I could do bike fits for my clients who are training for mountain biking or whatever. And I also want a gravel bike so fucking bad. So bad, it's insane.
It's the best.
I would just love to be able to offer that. And especially if there's no one else in Truckee doing it and Zoe might be leaving, like, I'm about to email her after this to be like, hey, Zoe, I'm super interested. Like, what can you tell me about this? And like, can you train me? Like, can I learn from you? What do I need to do? I'll probably just go straight to her about asking how one goes about doing it. And especially because like with Outdoor Women's Wellness, maybe I'd just be able to carry on like doing it through them, having them offer it as well, not
Yeah.
just me personally as a trainer. I don't know. I'd have to figure out
Yeah. The
that.
logistics. But I love where your head's at. That's a great path to be on because it is so fucking important. I can't tell you how many times whenever I see like even a little kid on their bike, I'm like, oh man, he could really use his saddle raised, or like, man, that person is, their elbows are super bent, or like you can just, there's a lot of things where you can just see, but like you said, like when it comes down to like the tweaking, it's all very finite and like very like tiny tweaks here and there. The smallest thing makes a difference. And I
Yep.
feel like my brain is not cool with all of the tweaking. Like I'm just like, just set it to where it needs to be and I'll just ride it. It's
Yeah.
fine. Like there's so many things that still need to be done with my mountain bike. Like I need to get smaller like shorter
Oh,
handlebars. And
right.
of
We
course
talked
the
about that.
saddle thing. But
Yeah.
it's just like once you do the things, it makes a world of a difference.
It does. And I mean, there's definitely times, obviously, with my mountain bike, like I've been like, it's good enough. And I just ride and I go through the pain or the struggle or whatnot. I kind of pick and choose my battles, and that hasn't been one of them for me. And I think it's because I haven't been riding enough.
Yeah.
But this Sturdy Dirty has definitely, that's really what made me want to do it. Is like I want to be as efficient as possible in my riding to feel good riding. And oh my god, even with the saddle adjustment and then the handlebar especially getting like less crunched, because she was talking about like leaning forward more, and I'm like, oh yeah, I have felt so out of control with my riding the last couple years, and I was just attributing it to riding less.
Yeah.
But I think it's a combination. Like, yeah, I haven't been riding that much, but also like I haven't been in the best position. I've been
Yeah.
Body position has been setting myself forward. So of course, when I'm actually like launched forward or something,
Yes.
I'm gonna feel way less in control. So I can't fucking wait to ride it and
Yeah.
see how it feels. And I'm just so like I always make sure I'm positioned well on a spin bike. Like, why haven't I taken this to my mountain bike?
Yeah.
And I would just love to be able to offer that information to people, because when I find those things, like I just want to tell everybody. I mean,
Yes.
I notice whenever anyone's kayaking with their paddle upside down or backwards, and it in commercials anywhere, like out on the lake, I want to yell like, your paddle's upside down.
Yeah.
Like it's just like you notice those things. Like you said, you see people on the bike, you're like, oh yeah, they need to go up, they need to go
Yes.
down, they need something. And you're like,
Yeah.
just once you notice it, you can't get it out of your mind.
Yeah. You really can't.
Yeah. But
Good thing, bad thing. I don't know. I think it's for the best for sure.
yeah. So any of you, oh, excuse me.
Uh-oh.
Wow. Um, any of you guys out there, bikers, any kind of bikers, cyclists, um, if you haven't gotten a bike fit and you're serious about, excuse me, my goodness.
Little tickle got you good.
Yeah, go find someone to give you a bike fit, basically, is what I'm trying to say.
Yes. So you mentioned the Sturdy Dirty. It's coming up. You've been home for 2 weeks now.
Yeah.
I feel like I've been seeing you active on like Strava and things. And are you drinking? Have you been not drinking or like?
I'm taking weekdays off of drinking
Good job.
because I feel like that's a good middle ground for me to not be too strict.
Hard on. Yes, you have to give yourself grace in
Yeah.
all fucking things.
And I don't want to, sometimes it just, you have the opposite effect, right? You're trying to do something, and then when you realize you failed because if I say no alcohol at all and I have a drink on a Friday night or a Saturday, I'm like, oh, well, fuck, there it all goes. All goes to shit.
And now I quit.
Yeah. But even if I were like, I'm going out with some girlfriends tonight, and if I decided, I want to have a cocktail, I'm not going to be hard on myself. I'm not throwing, it doesn't mean I have to throw caution to the wind and have 10.
Yeah.
I'm doing it mostly because it's just empty calories. And I'm really trying to get to a place physically that I want to be. And I think that minimizing alcohol can be a big kind of helpful step in that. And I say on weekdays again, because like that doesn't mean on weekends I'm going ham.
Yeah.
Uh, like I had 2 beers last Friday, and then I was just like, yeah, I'm like, I realized then I didn't have any the rest of the weekend. I just had non-alcoholic beers because on that Friday I had the 2 beers, and I'm like, man, it doesn't even do anything. Like I don't feel drunk, tipsy, buzzed. Like I'm sure I probably had a little bit, whatever, but I was just like, the amount I have to get to this like state that you want to be in is a waste of money
Yes.
and a whole waste of calories. But I want a beer. I like the way
Yeah.
beer tastes.
Same.
So drinking NA beers, I'm like, this has been great because I'm getting that beer taste, and I'm not getting drunk, which I wasn't anyways,
Yeah.
and much less calories,
Mm-hmm.
and then no effects obviously like on my health the next day or anything, because
Totally.
sometimes I have a couple beers and do like, so I could have 3 beers one day and feel like crap the next morning, but I'm like, well, I didn't
Mm-hmm.
even enjoy that buzz or anything off of it, but I
Yeah.
feel like so much shit the next day. So I've just been noticing that it affects me a lot afterwards, but I'm not getting anything good out of it.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
um so and I've also felt that, I've maybe placebo effect or something drinking the beer. It's like I can still be happy and like having a good
Social.
time. Yeah. So tonight I really want it to be an experiment too with my gal pals of like, okay, I'll have a mocktail and or an NA beer or something, and I could still have a good time
Yeah.
because I think I'm out of the stage of like being FOMO of like,
Yes.
oh, I'm not wasted like my friends and I'm not dancing at the club. Like
Yes.
I need to get in that drunk state of mind to loosen up. I don't feel that, at
Good.
least right now. Maybe
Yeah.
some event would come up and I'd feel like, oh, I need a drink to like boogie,
Yes.
but I don't, we're not getting down to too short anymore.
Yeah.
So I don't, no one's blowing the whistle for me. So I think
Oh
I'm
my
all
God.
right.
Ah, the good old
And
days.
besides, you only feel like you're getting low. You're not
Yeah.
actually getting low. So at least I'll
Ain't
have the
that the truth?
wherewithal to know, like, yeah, I ain't low for sure. Um,
Good times.
so yeah, I've just been really paying attention to what I eat as well. I've never preached like calorie counting or macro counting or anything. And I think mostly that's because I personally haven't stuck to that.
Yeah, it's hard.
And there's just so much more involved
Hmm.
into like getting in shape or losing weight or whatever, that I've never wanted to put an emphasis solely on one thing. And I think so many people have already had issues with food and eating, that I don't want it to be a part of my MO to preach about that
Hmm.
and awaken that in somebody. I want them to focus on getting strong, but
Yeah.
nutrition still is a big part of it. So it's been conflicting and hard to talk about. I mean, I can't give people meal plans. That's not in my wheelhouse and my expertise. Um, but I definitely suggest that they research stuff for themselves and pay
Yeah.
attention to it. But again, I've that's been my biggest struggle. So I feel like a hypocrite if I am to preach it.
Totally.
But right now I am trying to track, again, not strict on it, trying to pay attention, just have a lot more awareness about it.
Hmm.
Um, because it's just like, damn, it does not take much sometimes to reach that calorie intake for the day.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think I have been in denial about some things and how much I do consume without realizing it. So, like,
Yeah.
yeah, that could be the answer to a lot of things as well. So,
Hmm.
I'm just trying to really give
Dude.
it a good go of paying hardcore attention to my nutrition and my intake, as well as staying on a good training program,
Yeah.
because I've kind of always been one or the other. Like I'll pay attention to nutrition for a little bit, but not be training regularly, or I'm training regularly, but I'm not paying attention to nutrition because I'm just like,
Yeah.
oh, I worked out. I should be able to eat whatever I want.
Totally.
And it's like, dude, my breakfast and smoothie yesterday ended up being like half my calories because I didn't work out. I'm like, whoa.
That's a
Like,
trip.
yeah, just a bagel, cream cheese, and half avocado. And then I had my smoothie, and I make my smoothies like 400 calories because I make them to be a meal.
Yeah.
I didn't eat them at the same time. I didn't
Yeah.
consume like 700 plus calories in one sitting, but I can do that for sure.
Yep.
um, but I was just like, wow, that's a lot. That took up a lot of room. What am I gonna have for dinner?
Yeah.
Like,
And it puts things into perspective too when you look at food as like a caloric value as
mhm.
opposed to like a nutritional value or like
Yeah.
what you're like get your veggies in. I think
Yep.
that's the most important thing for me because I know that if I've gone like a day without eating veggies, I'm like I feel like a cracker.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I know that I crave that stuff if I'm really thirsty or something. Um, and I know I haven't eaten fruits or vegetables. My God, I need all I'm craving is that fresh stuff that has water
Yes.
content in it. Like
Fiber,
I know that when I'm
baby.
yeah, craving a lot of fruits and vegetables, I'm probably dehydrated as well.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but it's just hard. It's so hard to keep track of and pay attention to because again, the thing is you can't just look at the calorie content and be like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm eating less than like 2000 calories or like I know why it's so hard sometimes too is because you're eating empty calories. So
Mm-hmm.
it's like I ate the bagel and cream cheese, like that's what I had for breakfast. But it wasn't that long later that I was hungry again because it's mostly carbs and just fast fuel. And so I'm just trying to pay a lot of attention to my protein intake. And that
Yeah.
has been helping because I haven't been wanting to snack a lot. I haven't felt like I've been overeating. I haven't been doing dessert at night. Um, and that's the dessert thing is mostly like a choice for
Mm-hmm.
sure.
1000.
But my craving and desire for after every meal immediately going for something sweet has lessened, and that's been a battle.
Awesome.
Like after every meal I instantly am like I need something sweet right now,
Yeah.
and I that's been less. And again, I think it's been a combination of mindset as well as I'm eating things that are more satiating than what I
Yep.
was normally eating. But again, it takes a lot of fucking work. You have to
It
pay
takes
so much
so much
attention and
work.
prepare, and sometimes it's just not easy to do and you don't have time and this or that. But I've been trying to load up on snacks of yeah, like meat sticks. So I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, this will be my snack instead of a whole bag of chips, like
Mm-hmm.
um
Or cheese sticks, or I've been doing like nuts and cheese.
mm-hmm.
Love it. I love that snack so much. Thank you, Atkins diet back in the 90s for teaching me how delicious nuts and cheese can be together.
Absolutely. And um yeah, I'm just on the go so much too. So yeah, having just go-to snacks like that are and things that are going to fuel me and not make me bonk.
Yes.
But it's hard as well to stick to because it's annoying when you see some people have changes in a week or two because I'm like in this group for this like workout program I'm following and some I've lost 4 pounds in this many inches. I'm like, I haven't lost shit.
Yeah,
And
it doesn't
I
happen like that for me either.
don't feel like my pants have changed, but I also have not put on a pair of pants that like button for a while. So
Bless up.
yeah.
I think that means
Um
you're living the good life.
totally. But yeah, it's hard to maintain when you don't see the instant results. And I'm really trying to keep
Yes.
that in my mind as well as like don't get discouraged or disappointed because that is why I stop all the time. That's why I
Yeah.
quit. I mean, I love working out. So if I quit for that, it's because I just like I'm not having the energy or my body's hurting or something. And then it's hard to get on a routine. But with nutrition and following any kind of plans or keeping on it, like I give up because I don't see changes in a couple weeks.
Hmm.
So I'm like, okay, hold on, just hold on. This is the long game, baby.
Yep.
We're running a fucking marathon.
Running a marathon. And
And
it
I
is
hate
hard to
running.
keep it consistent. Oh, it's the worst. Although I've been having urges to run because I just have been so physically stagnant.
Mm,
Was on a good roll with the Peloton there for like 2 months. And then life smacked me in a different way. And I've just been so busy. But also within the whole not moving my body a whole lot, I'm so fucking
yeah.
tired
It's a
when I
catch
don't.
22. Vicious cycle rather.
Ah, it's the
I
worst.
um I've been really I might have mentioned it last week when I talked about hurting my back. And so I was taking the rest of the week easy, but I've also been really trying to put a focus on my steps and getting steps in and getting
Yes.
10,000 a day. And which has been hard because I've work from home and
At a
it can time
computer.
consuming. So
Yes.
I've been thinking a lot about just trying to start running because I can get more steps in a shorter amount of time.
Yeah.
And it's something I want to do by myself. I don't want to go out on runs with anybody because they run and I just try
Yeah.
to keep up, and then my body, well, I don't keep up at all, but like my body just then hurts. So I'm like, okay, I want to ease into this, and I want to start when I'm just going out with the dogs myself in the morning, like
Yeah.
just get going for a little jog, just
Yes.
like doing intervals, run a
Yes.
little
Yes. Yes. I
walk
was
when
going
I
to
feel like
suggest
it,
that
run,
too.
and just on the flats, like, okay,
Yep.
I'll walk down my freaking half-mile hill, I'll get to the flat, and I'll start jogging.
Yep.
And when I feel like I'm hitting a threshold, I'll stop and I'll
Yeah.
walk for however long I want and just interval it. And
Yep.
even that in itself will cover a little bit more ground in a shorter amount of time, because as much as I hate running, I do want to, it would be lovely to go for a 10-mile run
Yeah.
in a couple hours, like, and explore through the fucking mountains.
Yes.
But instead of just this boring ass like mile down and back or half mile down and back because of my time constraint, like getting only 3 miles, oh my god, this takes for fucking ever. I could cover, I
Yes.
want to cover 6 miles in an hour. I'd love
Yeah.
that.
That would be amazing.
Yeah. So
Intervals, baby.
yeah, and I want to be able to do that and like go for a bike ride if I wanted. And
Yeah.
and running takes so much out of me that if I were to try and go on a run with one of my friends and run a straight 6 miles right now, I wouldn't be able to do anything the rest of the day or
Yeah.
week probably.
Yeah.
So again, it's just trying to get in this mindset of slow and steady, baby. I'm the fucking epitome of a turtle.
Yeah.
Like I am the tortoise.
Yep. It
So
happens. And it is okay. There's a
yeah.
lot of beauty and grace in a tortoise.
Yeah, I want one.
Yeah. You should get
I
one.
want one at the property so bad.
Make them a little pond and everything.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if tortoises even need ponds.
Oh,
They're
good
like
point.
desert
Yeah, I'm thinking
animals.
of like turtle.
Yeah. I want a turtle like I used to have. But when we get a pond, I'll have those kind of turtles. But I want a fucking tortoise, man.
Yeah, baby.
Tug and the tortoise and
Oh
Piglet.
my
Yeah,
How cute.
the animal shelter that we got Piglet and Tug from had a tortoise a while back, and that's when I was like, oh,
I want one.
yeah. But the winters are definitely too harsh, so I don't know what we'd do
Yeah.
with him. But yeah.
Cute.
But anyway, so we've already been on for a while, and oh yeah, quite a while. We did have a topic and we can still talk about it for sure, but we wanted to touch on negativity and like negative thoughts,
Yes.
spiraling, things like
Spiral.
that. And this, it all kind of ties into each other because the stuff we were talking about
Yes.
of trying to stay on a just be healthier, anything like that, like I often
Yes.
spiral and have a lot of negative thoughts. I
Yes.
when I'm not seeing results, I go into a very bad place, especially when it comes to like running or even when I'm mountain biking and going uphill. I This is why I've kind of wanted to start doing these things on my own, because I fucking cry a lot or want to cry a lot during
Yeah.
these activities because I go into such a dark place of like, I can't fucking do it. Why can't I do this?
Yeah.
Like this, why is it getting harder and harder? What's wrong with me? To the point of just being such a hypochondriac that I'm convinced, I'm dying and something's
Yes.
wrong with me, that it's not getting better. But yeah, I get so frustrated at how hard it can be. And that's just, of course, a surface level thing of
Yep.
these negative thoughts and going into a spiral.
Totally.
But that's how easy it is for me to get into
Oh,
those, is
in
the
a
fact,
matter of fucking seconds.
yeah. And that's
And
just
you're stuck there for a minute, you know what, or
mm-hmm.
like hours or
Yeah.
days or weeks, and you just have to like snap yourself out of it, give yourself some true grace and
Mm-hmm.
change it and stop it immediately and say some kind things about yourself, or
Yeah.
be like, look at the progress you've made, or like, I've worked out 4 days this, you know what I mean? Like,
Mm-hmm.
and I know that when you're in the spiral and you're going down that thought,
Toilet.
yes, it's so hard to get out of it. But if you just like check yourself, like, okay, negative Amber or negative Taryn, now positive Amber and Taryn are going to step in and be like, wow, look at your physical, able working body. You have 2 arms and legs that can do things.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like you have lungs in your air, like air in your breath, lungs in your air. And yeah, there's just so many things to be grateful for, especially if you do have a capable and able working body. God, I should take my own advice because I was like
Absolutely.
wanting to take a nap before or after this, but I'm like, no, go move your
Just
body.
go for a walk.
Yes.
Even like I hate walking so much. Again, because of what I just talked about, is it takes too long.
It's yes, very time consuming.
I've always been against kind of like listening to music or podcasts or something during those, because when I'm like, I'm out in nature, I should fucking, but I'm in my head too much, and all I'm thinking about is like just being back home or being done or whatever. So I've started to like lean into, let me just listen to something to let my mind go, and I'm actually able to enjoy this so much better when I have something carrying me on. So I haven't been hard on myself about like, listen to the fucking birds. Like, I don't really need to. I hear them all day long. They're beautiful, but like,
they're beautiful.
They're not helping me get through this.
Yeah. And they're not gonna not go away. I mean, you know what I mean? Like they're not gonna go away.
Yeah.
They'll always be there.
But it is so hard. And that's why I'm very picky about who I do activities with, especially when it comes to something that I'm already doubting myself on. Like, I'm so slow on all the uphills. I am so nervous about going with other people that I don't go with often, which is pretty much now just like one person.
Yeah.
And but I want to start doing that and getting out, and I don't want to have to feel like, I always tell the person like, hey, I'm really, really, really slow on the uphill. Like, so, you know, because you just always feel like people are judging you and whatnot. So I want to get out of that. And I will tell someone like, hey, the uphill's not my strong suit. I am slow. If you've got a time constraint or you don't want to wait, then don't fucking wait for me. But if you just, and it's funny because it's how I am with people who do this to me. I'm like, I don't care. I'm outside and I'm on my bike and I don't have that time constraint. You can be as slow as you fucking want. Like, and I can choose to never go with you again. Or like I said, I know that when I go with you, like, this is how it is. This is how it is. But the spiral, the negative thoughts, I mean, like I said, the fact that those come into such at surface level things of just being active.
And it's like, invisible. It's an invisible thing. Like everyone fucking does it, but you don't see it, you know?
Exactly. And this is what we kind of talked about, touch base with like last week, and probably even when we did the body image episode too, but with boundaries and stuff, that I know I am so sensitive that comments people make off the cuff can send me into a spiral and negative thoughts, and
so quick.
And who knows what's going to get me out of that? It could be time. It could be just the next interaction with that person that is better. And it goes away or whatever. But man, it is really hard to pull yourself out of it. And so for me, what I try to do, like you said, you mentioned of just like pausing and bringing that positive Taryn in, and being happy and thankful for a moving body, an able body, the privilege of having the tools to get me outside or whatever the case may be. And when it comes to just negative thoughts and spiraling from a comment that someone's made, or just feeling bad. Comparing.
Ugh, that's a bad one.
That it's a similar thing, is just like recognizing that you're in that, like, hey, I'm spiraling. I'm fucking spiraling. So, hold on. Not like hold on for the ride, but like, I just imagine like being in one of those spinny rides or something and just like putting your arms out, like just like stopping. Stop being in a spinny office chair, putting your feet down, like stop the spiral. Stop the spiral.
And it may take your head a few turns to like get back to like not being dizzy headed in that spiral, but like you can get there, especially if you're conscientious about it. And because I mean, if the things that we say to ourselves, we would fucking never say to one of our friends. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And even when we're on this podcast, and I think it was like you just said, I need to take my own advice. we're doing that all the time because we're just talking these issues out loud. And even
Mm-hmm.
just doing that makes you look from the outside in like, oh wait,
Yes.
I'm doing that. I
Yes,
should
exactly.
stop that.
Or like when we judge people for doing the X, Y, and Z, and we're like, oh shit, I do that too. And just being
Yep.
like, we're human. We're
Hmm.
human. There's no right or wrong. Like it actually is, but like,
Yeah, there's definitely some rights and wrongs.
yes, yes, but we are on our own journeys
Uh-huh.
and to give ourselves just so much grace because there's that ambition to where we want better, we want
Hmm.
more, we want to reach these goals. There's a lot to be said for that, and it doesn't happen overnight. It really does not.
It does not. And so I think that when you notice, if you can notice you're in the negative or
Yeah.
the spiral, is like first things first, like one step at a time, slow the spiral
Yep.
down, trying to get it to the stop. And that can literally mean that with whatever you're doing, stop,
Yeah.
stop moving, close your eyes,
Yeah.
take a breath, and
Center
just start,
yourself.
yep, focus on your breathing. Because
Mhm.
often when you're in those spirals, like your heart rate's probably up,
Yeah.
and you probably don't even know, but you're like anxious, and um you're having visceral reactions.
Yes. And you're probably releasing certain chemicals in your brain that do things to your body, and
Yep.
it's a domino effect.
And it's just really, you gotta recognize it's
Yep.
happening, you gotta pause and just slowly try to take yourself out of the muck, however that might work for you, whether that's giving yourself then positive affirmations,
Hell yeah.
speaking, slapping yourself in the face, like maybe not literally, but
Yeah.
like,
But if
wait,
that's what
stop.
it is,
Yeah,
then
i've
shit, man.
I've definitely done it. I mean,
Yeah.
I have
Yeah.
had to literally like stop and like give myself some
Yep.
slappies on the face, like chill the fuck out. Or like
Yes.
mostly when I do that, it's like a, get it together, like
Yep.
pump yourself up,
Recenter.
whatever. Yeah. Um, and just get ready for it, or like, or the opposite of calm down, chill.
Yeah.
Like, what are you freaking out about?
Yeah. Or like, so you have talked a lot about how you're not great with the climbs. So,
Hmm.
for example, it would be good for you to be like, okay, this is going to be hard for me, but
Hmm.
I have two legs. I have this awesome bike that I just got fit. I'm so blessed for that. And I'm going to do this the best that I can.
Yeah.
And if that is 25 minutes under what the fastest person's time is, then that's fine. It's a journey with you and yourself.
Hmm.
No one fucking else, but it is really hard to not compare.
It is hard, especially if you're with somebody, right? And then your friend's just going and going, and you're like, oh my God, how many times are they stopping for me? And when they do stop, how long are they waiting? Did they
Yeah.
just wait 8 minutes for me? Like, and then, like get there, like, oh, so sorry. You're like, oh no, I just stopped. Like, you're not that far behind just because you
Yeah,
can't see the person or something. Or it's
totally.
also like, I'm really trying to stop saying sorry for that. Like, you know what you're getting into
Yes.
coming with me.
Fuck
And
yeah.
if we get to the point, like, so you keep going as long and as far as you want, you do not have to stop and wait for me. And
Mhm.
if they do, that's their choice. They stopped, they
Yeah.
waited. So I don't have to say anything, and I can stop and take my breath. Or sometimes, like, I have to keep going even
Yes.
though it's slow. If I stop, then it all just like, it
Goes
gets
out the
harder to
window.
start. Yeah, so
Yep.
I just have to keep my tortoise pace and just slow and steady go. And I'll get there, whatnot. And and it's kind of like the slow and steady pace, even with negative thoughts. If you're thinking negatively about your, just like your body image or your self-worth, is
Mhm.
like slow and steady thoughts to get you back to the positive.
Mhm.
Like, just, okay, again, relax and try to do some balancing out work. Like, no, you're not a pile of shit. You're
Yeah.
not.
You're
If I
not.
was a pile of shit, maybe I'm only a pile of bird shit,
Yeah.
not dog shit,
Which
not
is really
horse
high in
shit.
phosphorus and
Yeah.
super good for the environment.
And then you're like, no, I'm not even a pile of bird shit. I'm just a tiny little pile of caterpillar shit. And then you're like, I'm not
Yeah.
a pile of shit at all. What am I talking
Yeah.
about?
Also,
Like,
worm shit is soil, and that's what our
yeah.
food grows in. It's so important. Shit is
Yeah.
very important, and we shouldn't be as afraid of poop as we are, even though it is gross and disgusting and there can be some like really bad bacteria in there,
Yeah,
it's really not as
absolutely.
bad as we make it out to be.
There's some good
It
to it.
smells horrendous, but
Yeah. Also because we eat horrendous food.
uh
So, like cow pie
yeah.
doesn't stink. But
Yeah.
you know it does, but not like toxic. Dog
No, like some of my
dog shit and
shits.
human shit smells so bad because we feed
Yes.
highly processed gross food. But like, does
Hmm.
bear shit stink? I don't think so.
Yeah,
It just
that's a
looks
great
like
question.
blueberries.
Yeah.
But anyway, we digress about shit.
Mhm.
But
Yep.
just getting yourself out of the spiral. Um,
Yes. Hop off
again,
that ride, man.
hop off the ride. I
It
mean,
ain't for you.
it's not, and it's really hard to stop ourselves from going there. Um, but like you mentioned just then with the hill climb thing is a great way to maybe just even avoid going into that spiral is recognizing the situation beforehand. Like, you know what stuff, when you can control it. Like, that's something I can control more, is knowing that certain activities can get me into a spiral. So I can know
Yes.
beforehand, like, hey, give myself that pep talk. Like, you're okay. It's going to be hard, but you're going to make it through there. Obviously, sometimes we get thrown into those spirals like with out of the blue. We have no idea. We can't choose what someone else does to us that puts us in that.
Yeah.
But you can
Or
start to
that time of month.
recognize, yeah, you can also try to recognize that, hey, I know when someone gives me a negative comment or negative feedback that I can tend to take it too far and too deep and too personally. So if someone's going to give me a negative comment, I need to realize like it's not personal all the time, you know.
Yeah.
Obviously sometimes it is, someone's talking shit to your face, but if it's a work situation or
Oh,
something and
geez.
it's feedback, it's not, again, a lot of times maybe not personal, but like I said, I take a lot of things personal, and that's something I
Yeah.
work on all the time, is to realize like, no, that wasn't towards me and my character.
Yes.
um so if you can just trying to recognize things before you go into the spiral, that hey, this is something that sets me off, and trying to slow it down before it even gets
Mm-hmm.
going, and then take
Mm-hmm.
yourself out. um
Also
yeah,
accept that we can't be great at all things always, all the time.
yep,
In
100%.
including with controlling our thoughts and
Hmm.
not spiraling and trying to think positively. I
It's
feel
gonna
like,
happen.
yeah, it's gonna
You're gonna have
happen.
those days, and that's fucking
Yeah.
fine. You can have a self-pity day. Let
Yeah.
yourself have the day,
Yeah. It's okay to not be okay.
but try not to let it overcome you for a week, for
Whew.
a month, for your
Yes.
life.
Yes.
But
Yes.
it is a fine line, I think, of feeling your feelings and letting yourself express them versus sitting in them too long.
Yes.
Like, it's okay to be angry. Be angry. Take some
Yes.
anger out in a healthy way. Find a healthy way to do that. It's okay to be sad. Be fucking sad. Cry. Like, get it out. Again, these
Mm-hmm.
are visceral reactions that are manifested because of these emotions, these chemical things going on in your body. Like,
Yeah.
they want to get out, so let them
Mhm.
come out.
Yes.
But we just have to
Also,
find the healthy ways to get them out.
mm-hmm. And another thing that I feel like our generation does, or generations have done, is be like, oh man, this life is so hard. Everything's so hard. And if you think about, I, this is like a total like offshoot thing, but if you think about like people who have pioneered this fucking place, like you think you've got some hard shit, which I'm not trying to undermine people's struggles and things, but like pioneer ring people who had to discover like what foods were poisonous or what foods were good to eat or not to eat. Like, I don't know, like it could be worse.
Mm-hmm. Always, always could be worse. And of course, that's hard to think of in your moment of
Mm-hmm.
being down or
Negative
self-pity or
spiraling.
whatever. But it's a good thing to remind yourself once you're able to get out of it, is, or like slow it down, is that like, wait, could be worse. It's okay.
Yeah. And it's very alienating when you do get into those spirals where you're like, I'm the only one who's a
Mhm.
piece of shit.
Yep. And
It's
like,
like,
exactly. That's, yeah.
yeah.
What I said last week too about boundaries and stuff. And I've been the person of, um, just a thinking like life's happening to me and not
Yeah.
anybody else. It's like, no, everyone's going through it. And again, it doesn't make it easier in the moment, but if you can think about that at some point, it makes it a little bit easier to get all the way out of it. So slow it down, and then maybe that could be the anchor to pulling you all the way out of it. It's like, wait.
Hell yeah.
This is not just me. And
also within acknowledging that you're negative thinking, voice it. Call up a buddy if they're, be like, hey man, I'm really having some negative thoughts. And I just kind of, if you have a moment, if you're in the right headspace, if we could just talk about this, like even talking to you about this right now, I'm just like, yeah, man, like it just feels so much like, I don't know, whatever I was negative spiraling about seems a little bit lighter.
Yeah. Getting, like I said, getting it out through whatever emotions are going to show their face, or venting, talking about it, writing about it. I mean, I can already tell too, we're virtual, we're seeing each other on Zoom, but you have a different energy about you now than you did even just from the beginning. And I feel like I can see some more energy in you that it's like, okay, after this, you're a little bit revitalized to go outside, go for a walk, and get some movement in your body.
Yes.
Because you were able to get yourself in a different state of mind to be like, yeah, I don't need to sit in the funk and just be lazy and bummed out. And like we said, that is totally fine to do that. 100% no judgment on that.
Long.
Yeah, don't let yourself do it too long. And there's, I don't know, you can also think about like, okay, yeah, this isn't one of those times that I really need to let myself sit in it. It's not that mucky of a thing. I can pull myself out of it, but there's some shit in life that happens that you're like, yeah, no, this deserves a sit in bed all day or take 5 naps kind of thing.
Yeah.
But you can look at this like, you know what, my day today, like, yeah, it was shitty, I was in a bad mood, or whatever the heck was happening is not the greatest, but like you said, could be worse. And I can take myself on a walk to get through it. I can exercise. I can go see a friend or whatever. And it just feels,
you don't
so
have to
good.
Go at it alone either. That's another hard thing that our society always teaches us, is that whenever we're going through shit, we have to do it alone, but you really don't. And more
like,
often
don't
than
put it
not,
on other people. And it's like, no, that's what your friends are here for.
Exactly.
Just same thing as the simple surface level shit of telling your friend that, hey, I'm slow at climbing, but you don't have to stick around for it. And you being that friend is like, no, I'm here for it.
Yeah.
Your friends are here for it. Your true friends are here for it all. More, and if they're not, I'm gonna have to tell you to look at that relationship. If they're not here for it, then you have tiers of friendship, and that's not a bad thing. I have tiers of friendship. This is my friend who I call for this. This is my friend who I call for that. That's, an acquaintance. Like, it is fine. It is one, you don't have to do everything with everybody, but that circle of friends who are here for it. And if you thought they were here for it and they ain't, then they're getting moved to a different tier.
Exactly.
Move them,
and it may
and
not
don't
be
feel bad
forever.
about it. Yeah. Don't feel bad about it. Like, I know I'm not calling them at this time, but yeah, because again, they might be somewhere else in their life. So they might not be, they could be going through something too that they don't have the space or capacity for it. And you don't have to hold a grudge against them for them not being able to be there for you at all. But it's a place where you can put space in that relationship for the time being until you're and get what you need out of them, and they're going to get what they need out of you. Find the balance in your relationships. Like I said, it doesn't have to be forever. If they move to one tier or the other, it could be a short amount of time, but
or a while. You do you. Every scenario is totally different. Your feelings are valid.
And people change. Relationship change, all sorts of them throughout your life, family, friends, partnerships, whatever. It all fucking changes. So
and they all require work, and they're all, for the most part, not easy.
No. Some are, and that's great. But like I said, most of them aren't. And even the ones that are probably go through at least a time period of it. But again, let's normalize that things are just fucking hard. Things are hard. It's not easy. There's no simple solution for anything.
No pill you can pop.
Yep, I was just about to say, seriously, if you are still in the world that believes in diet pills, like get the fuck off that train now. Don't work. It does not work. Crash diets, fucking anything in your life that is quick and easy is not sustainable.
Ain't
Most
fucking
likely.
worth it.
Ain't worth it, and it's not sustainable. You gotta do the damn work.
Yep.
Unless you're blessed with some kind of body
Magic
or situation
wand.
or something that it just
Genie in a bottle.
100%. So some people are, they just got that mad luck no matter what they do, but most of us don't. So
nope. Lucky ducks.
Life takes work, and life is fucking hard. But for most people it is. So just don't give up on yourself.
And tell yourself good things.
Good things. Like, you're the best.
You're the best.
You're just the best. You're the prettiest, the smartest, the kindest,
you're so strong.
Whatever the hell it is you want to be. That's how I used to end a lot of my yoga classes, was like, you know, tell yourself something that you want to hear from someone else. Like, what's the thing that you desire so deeply to hear from other people? And tell that to yourself right now, and just repeat it to yourself over and over and over.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. If you wish that you were hearing, like, you're so smart, you're so witty, you're so strong, or whatever, repeat that to yourself over and over and over again, because if you don't believe it, no one else is going to. Well, that's not true. Plenty of people believe in and see things in you, but the point is, like, make yourself believe it, because you don't need anyone else to believe it besides yourself. And you want people to tell you that because you want to believe it. But you're the one that matters. So you tell yourself that you believe it, you feel it, you make that burn inside of yourself so that it just radiates out. And then you'll hear it, and you won't even need to hear it by that point.
That was fucking beautiful, Taryn.
Thanks. I should go back to teaching yoga, huh?
You really should.
Yeah, I forgot about that, honestly, until that very moment, but I loved ending all my classes that way.
I'm trying to think of what I would want to hear from other people, but I feel like I want to tell myself something deeper than "you're a good mom, you're a good friend."
Nope,
you know what I mean? Like, it has to be. I want the thing that I want to tell myself to be a little bit more me focused.
Every day, though, it can be something different. It can be something throughout the day.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be this is the only thing you can ever hear from anyone in your life. Like, today, wake up in the morning, like, today, what do I want to hear from people? How do I want to feel? Do I want to feel like the smartest I've ever felt today, the strongest, that I am like, what are you doubting yourself in today? If you're waking up and you're, you know, or going to bed or something, you're feeling like, man, I'm not feeling like a good mom. I need someone to tell me that.
Yeah, true.
That could be your morning, it could be your evening, it could be your day. Like, then tell yourself that. And it can be that surface level. You're like, I want someone to fucking tell me I am so pretty. Then tell yourself that, because as much as we try to get away from looks being the thing that we're complimenting people on, it's still in us. It's ingrained in us. And you just want to feel attractive. You just do. And there's no shame in that.
Nope.
No shame at
Sexuality
all.
is a very important part of who we are.
Yeah. So you tell yourself that, whatever it is you need to hear, like, every fucking day. That's why I would like to end it like every class, because it's not always the same thing. It's like, today, right now, what do you want to hear from someone? What do you wish someone would just come up out of nowhere and say to you, and you just think, oh, thank you. Now I believe it. It's like, no, you just make yourself believe it by telling yourself it, because it's true.
Yeah.
Whatever it is true. You just have to get there. Yep.
Yeah.
Just got to dig it out of yourself.
Hop off the ride.
I mean, we could end it with that for all you out there right now, is whatever you're out there doing, maybe you don't need to hear this right now, but you can take it with you for later. You put that in your back pocket, that what do you want to hear from someone? What is it that you feel that you would believe it if someone else told you?
Yeah.
Pick one thing for today. It can be something different in an hour, in a day, in a week, but first thing that just comes to your mind that you would really wish someone would say out of nowhere, just say that.
Yeah. Over and over again.
Over and over. Repeat it. Just repeat it. Repeat it.
Yeah.
Use it as like a mantra throughout your day. Because like I said, I don't know what it is. It could be anything for you, but if you want to hear it and that's what you're feeling, like it is true, you just have to maybe peel back layers to get to it and make it radiate from within your soul.
Hell yeah.
So that was a rant for the day. Lots of bike talk, bike fits, and straight into like a 180-ish of just deep thinking. So hopefully you all enjoyed that, learned some information on bicycling and how you may be able to help yourself get out of the spirals of negative thoughts. And of course, 100%, if you cannot get out of negative thoughts and you're feeling a certain way all the time, like you need to talk to somebody.
Yeah,
talk
call
to
your mom,
a professional too. Know that no matter what podcast or friend or anything you talk to, it does not replace talking to a professional if you are in a place that you think you really need some help. Because
especially if it is like a chemical imbalance, because then you definitely need a pill.
Yeah, we're just trying to let you all know what works for us and let you know that, we can relate to you. But man, don't let anything take the place of finding some professional help if you need it, because there ain't no shame in that either.
Mm-hmm.
So find your own personal mantra for what you want to hear, what you want to tell yourself, what you need to make yourself believe, to radiate it out of you. And I hope everyone has a wonderful rest of their day, evening, week. And I just feel like doing some yoga now.
Oh, girl. Yes.
I mean, I don't think I'm going to, but like it feels nice. I've got some things to do.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll be back and hopefully we'll actually have our good friend Hillary back here soon so we can catch up with her. It's been going on a year of the episode we had with her and her big move to the Virgin Islands, and she's back. She's back in the continental United States. So we'd love to catch up with her and hear about her experience of that. So if you hadn't listened to that episode, that was one of our most played, and you can go hear about making a major life change in your mid-30s. And now we can hear about how that all went.
Yeah.
Okay, everybody, we'll talk to you next week.
Bye.
Bye. We hope you enjoyed this episode and would do us a huge favor, since we don't have any sponsors or anything like that, and would rate and review us on whatever platform it is you use, Spotify, Apple, Stitcher, whatever it is. And if you're listening and downloading just through the website, tearingituppodcast.com, leave comments. We'll definitely engage back with you. And on social media right now, we're just on Instagram. Tearing It Up Podcast is the handle. Like the post, share the post, comment on the post, whatever it is you got. Show us your love so we just stay relevant and show up in the rankings at all. So again, rate and review, please. And we'll see you next time. Thanks.